By the sound of things, Uber and Lyft want to make you a part of their ownership team. Welcome everyone, Mark here from Uber Hints, and today we are going to talk about some offerings that might be made available to some drivers regarding the Uber and Lyft IPOs. So this I'm getting from Reuters, and it says Uber Technologies Incorporated and Lyft plan to offer cash bonuses to some of their most active drivers. That leaves me out, with the option to purchase shares in the ride-hailing firm's highly anticipated Wall Street debuts. A bold effort to improve driver relations as a company transitions to the public markets. I have to say, I can find very little wrong with Uber and or Lyft offering some kind of stock options or opportunities to buy in that the general public doesn't have. How can you take issue with that? Other than, I want all of us to have it. And I know it's going to go to the cream of the crop, those drivers that put in lots and lots and lots of long and heavy hours. So those of you who are going to be made this offer, I think you deserve it. You've been out there busting your tail on behalf of these companies, but let's read on. Both programs will offer drivers who have driven the longest and logged the most miles for the companies a rare chance to purchase stock at the initial public offering before shares begin trading on public stock exchanges. According to four sources, I don't know what the four sources are, they must be anonymous but knowledgeable sources, such transactions are normally unavailable to retail investors. The move itself is the latest bid by Uber and Lyft to improve relations with drivers who have long contested their classification as independent contractors and what they have claimed are low wages and poor treatment by the companies. Both companies still face thousands of driver arbitration claims over their employment status. You know, this is always kind of weird. They make goodwill gestures, and please understand me, I am not going to suggest that we look a gift horse in the mouth. If they want to give us stock options or give us money to spend on their stock, or even a bonus, why would I argue with it? But still, to think that you're going to pour oil on those troubled waters with, you know, a gesture like this, great, as I said, for the people who are getting it, but it still doesn't address those real problems, does it? A driver who has completed 20,000 rides would be eligible for $10,000 in cash or an equivalent amount of stock. It was not clear how many drivers would qualify, but there is no cap on the program. Now, this is Lyft, right? And it says Lyft will also give drivers who have logged at least 10,000 rides on the platform $1,000. That can either be kept as a cash bonus or buy the IPO shares. I would jump on that in a New York minute. I'm telling you, if I had an opportunity to buy in early and the money was free, I would take the chance. Now, it's funny because that says a lot about psychology of people. I may not take that same $1,000 or $10,000 out of my bank account, but if it was provided as a bonus, I might, spin that wheel of fortune just a little bit. Many drivers in urban areas like San Francisco and Los Angeles drive for both Uber and Lyft, and some could stand to benefit from both stock programs. I don't know why it singles out San Francisco and LA, because I think people drive for both of those platforms and both companies all over the country. Lyft plans to launch its roadshow when the company will pitch prospective investors to buy stock in the offering the week of March 18th, Reuters reported last week. The roadshow is expected to last about 2 weeks, likely making Lyft the first Wall Street debut from a group of highly valued venture-backed companies, all expected to go public this year. So they're going to beat Uber to the punch. Now, I'm going to slide down a little bit in this story because a lot of this stuff is, I wouldn't say irrelevant, but not of interest to this particular story. It is saying that Uber is a little more complicated, they're international, and that they might not be able to offer something as simple and as basic. It says Lyft expects to be valued at between 20 billion and 25 billion in its IPO, up from the current 15 billion valuation. And of course, we know Uber's number has been bantered about at around 120 billion, up from its 76 billion valuation. Now, I know somewhere in this story, I did see our good friend Harry Campbell was quoted, and I've got to find that. It was probably some of the part that I skipped over. But I always like that. You know, Harry is a real go-getter, and I like it when we see some of our own being quoted in these stories. Here it is. Stock prices often pop up after trading begins, making for a lucrative payday for shareholders who are able to buy at IPO price. However, many drivers are likely to keep the cash, said Harry Campbell, creator of the Rideshare Guy blog and podcast, which offers advice to its drivers. Here is a quote by friend Harry. Most drivers are on a pretty tight budget, so I think it'll be tempting for them to take the cash bonus. Harry, I don't know that I agree with you. I think a lot of Uber and Lyft drivers are some people that like to be independent, like to take chances, and maybe are willing to roll the dice just a bit. As I said, I would probably be one of those that would say, yeah, you know what? I'll take a run with it, because I think they're right. I think initially what happens is those stock prices tend to pop up. What happens after that is anyone's guess as they kind of balance out. And you know, but I'm not a stock market guy, but that's just kind of common knowledge that happens, right? So here's what I want to hear from you. What would you do if this was offered to you? Number one, would you take the cash, or would you invest it? Would you take a chance and say, yeah, I'll take my 1,000 or my 10,000 and put it in the stock market? If you get 10 grand, I wonder if they'll let you split that. Because then I might say, I'll take half in cash, half in stock options. But I think that's really, really interesting that they're doing this. And I'd like to hear from you. What would you do? Stock or cash? And secondly, do you think this really does anything to smooth over the way drivers have been treated over the years? And specifically, I'm talking to the whole concept of independent contractors versus employees. I know there's a lot of debate. I don't want to be an employee. I also think we're not really independent contractors. I still stand by the concept that's probably not going to happen, at least for a long time, that the gig economy has created a third category, and we are something in between. Love to hear your comments, everyone. As always, I encourage you to leave your comments down below, like and share the videos. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell up above so you know when I post new videos. In the meantime, pop over to the Average Me channel and find out where I am. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mark with Uber Hints.